Right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 13 of the Athletic Exchange with myself, Isaiah, and my co host, brilliant co host, amazing co host, Oliver Mintz, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Please take note if you are watching the video for this podcast that he is wearing the K hat, and that represents Colleen High. Me and Oliver attended Colleen High School. Kangaroos. I know you probably never heard of a kangaroo being a mascot for any high school that you've heard of. You heard of Wildcats, Bearcats, Lions, Eagles, Tigers, you name it. But a kangaroo, pretty rare.
Amen to
So
fighting kangaroos.
yeah, interesting week of college football, NFL, and NBA all together. So we're gonna dig into it. We're gonna start off with some NFL, of course. Then we'll dive into a little bit of NBA, and then finish off with some college football. So if you guys are tuning in right now or live, please ask questions. Give us your thoughts, opinions on any of our takes, and we will be sure to respond to them. So without further ado, Mr. Mintz, proud Buffalo Bills fan, I
Oh
have
yeah.
to ask you. I'm just curious. What are your thoughts on what took place between the Buffalo Bills and the reigning NFC champ Philadelphia Eagles this past week? What happened in that game?
So obviously I've had a few days to kind of think about it. Ugh, just an utter catastrophe. The Bills controlled the entire game pretty much up until I would probably say midway through the fourth quarter. That I will say this. I have been very impressed with Joe Brady's offense. The offense has exploded the past 2 weeks with 30 in each game. Um, and against two really solid defenses. So it's not a matter of offense. We're letting Joe Brady's allowing Josh Allen to be Josh Allen, which is something that he hasn't done, at least in the first half of the season. So I'm glad to see that happening. But the problem is game management. My first kind of uh, what's the word, gripe, I guess you could say. My first gripe with the whole thing was take a shot with the last 20 seconds in the fourth quarter. We have in the NFL, and we don't trust him enough to actually I mean, 20 seconds is a short time, but we had a timeout. I mean, if you have one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, at least give it a shot. Don't risk it going to overtime. And we know our luck in overtime games has not been amazing. So I think there's first problem was game management right there. Second was obviously the miscommunication with Gabe Davis in the end zone. I think, and I don't want to put blame, but I think it was Gabe's fault because he ran the wrong route. It was clear as day he ran the wrong route, and he was obviously beating himself up about it. I'm not going to sit here and rail on this for this whole thing, but I think he needs to kind of figure out, like, okay, yeah, dude, you're the wide receiver too on this team. Like, you're going to be trusted in big moments, and you got to pull through. Because if he catches that, the game's over. I mean, we score the touchdown, overtime is done, and we can find. And that was kind of the moment I saw that ball go up in the air. I was like, thank God. Like, I know this is like when Josh throws a pass that confidently, you know it's going to be something that big. And my heart dropped because I knew once that happened, I knew the Eagles were going to go down there and score. I mean, Jalen Hurts is a great clutch time quarterback. It's a known fact. So it's a game management problem, and I think it's also a communication problem. I think there's been a lot of miscommunications across the board this season in the 6 losses that we have. And I think if we'd missed the playoffs, here's my big takeaway is I think if we miss the playoffs, I think McDermott's done. I think McDermott is out the door. I don't think the Pagulas are going to have enough patience, especially with as talented of a roster as this is, to keep McDermott in the building. And I think they go for an offensive-minded coach, which is what you need with this kind of team. So, big takeaway. I think McDermott is done. if we miss the playoffs, but there's still a chance. There's an opportunity. I mean, we have a lot of teams in wild card spots with 5 losses, so it's not impossible to make the playoffs, but a lot has to happen.
Okay. I want to say some things about that game myself from my perspective. But before that, welcome Johnny to the chat with your Fly Eagles Fly. I agree. The Eagles will fly high and continue to soar into the playoffs. So thanks for joining the chat. Now, that game. So obviously, I was bugging you on purpose the entire game. I'm a troll. You know how I am during the Bills games. I'm an absolute troll. So when I saw the first half, I was like, my goodness, the Eagles, I think Jalen Hurts had somewhere around 38 passing yards at halftime or something like that, 38 or 58 or something like that. And I'm like, gosh, they're only down by what? They were down by what, 10 at halftime?
Yeah, it was
And I was
17-7.
like, yeah, I was like, oh my goodness, like they should be getting destroyed right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I will give you guys this. The refs absolutely made some ridiculous calls during that game that favored the home the home the home crowd. I mean, that the horse collar should have been a horse collar. Absolutely. Um
There was 2 PIs missed, I think, too.
absolutely. The PI on Diggs, I remember that one distinctly. I mean, that's just inexcusable right there. So, I feel bad for Josh because Josh played out of his mind. But once again, he didn't have the ball in overtime. The other team, well, he did. He actually got the ball first this time, but they couldn't score because they kept getting flags. If I remember, when they were
Yeah,
getting
there was a
close,
couple.
yeah, there was a couple flags. So, unfortunately for Buffalo, the Eagles, on the other hand, I mean, they're a resilient team. I mean, Jalen Hurts is that guy. Like, he is that guy. I saw some ESPN people saying, well, Hurts, he kind of reminds me of Brady because of his stoic nature and his leadership and his calmness in those clutch moments. And he doesn't never gets too high or too low. Like when he wins that game, he's fine. Like I don't know if you saw, but when Jake Elliott drilled that, what was it, 59-yarder in the rain,
Yeah.
you looked at Jalen Hurts and he was just sitting there on the bench like, and he was like
Yep.
locked in. Whenever he wins, he's not too excited. Whenever he loses, he's not too mad. So he's like the perfect leader for that team. He represents Philadelphia. And the Bills, I think they just, unfortunately, it's the tough schedule they're coming up on. And somebody was going to have to lose that game. And it just happened to be Buffalo. So I don't know if Buffalo will make the playoffs. I really don't. I want them to make the playoffs because I would love to see Josh Allen in the playoffs again. But I might have to watch the Indianapolis Colts in the playoffs and
That's
not the
yeah. Like
Buffalo
we
Bills. So, I mean,
here's
Gardner Minshew or Josh Allen, pick your poison.
yeah, right. So here's the thing though. If we do it, our remaining schedule is tough. We have Kansas off the bye week, which I think we can win considering we're coming off the bye and we've been really well on offense, but defense there's a lot to be desired. Um, the Cowboys at home I think is very winnable. I think we have
Is that in Buffalo?
it's in Buffalo. Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
why I'm
very
leaning
winnable.
towards that being a winnable game. Then
Yeah.
we play the Chargers, the Patriots at home, and then the Dolphins in Miami to close out the season. So I potentially see 2 losses in there, bringing the total up to like 8. But I can see us going 4, not easily, but it's possible. But as I said earlier, there has to be a lot of dominoes that have to fall in our favor. And I mean, the Colts can fall off the face of the planet. And I think the Broncos have 5 losses. And so I don't think it's, but like I said, it's going to be tough. And we got to damn near win out. So we will see
Yep.
how it ends up going. But
Speaking of the Broncos, they had an impressive win. over. I just want to point out real quick that win over Cleveland was impressive, despite
Mhm.
Dorian Thompson Robinson playing against that defense. They dropped 29. I mean,
Yeah.
they're looking the Broncos country. Let's ride. I mean,
Look,
I don't know what happened to that team. How do you get if you get beat 70-20 by one time in a season, your season's over with. Like that's
oh
it.
yeah.
So I'm
Wait,
surprised.
we got a caller in.
What it do?
Oh my
What it
God, he's in the
do?
gym.
What we do? We out here working. How do I reverse the camera back to me? Where's the law dog report? You gonna tell everyone how I'm whooping you at fantasy synthesizers?
Daniel, you do
Dang.
once.
You see how we
Flip
just
that,
push away right now?
flip the camera around.
I don't know how to turn it around. I'm
Please,
doing
just
leg. No, I want to be selfie camera. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Where's the report?
it's coming out.
Where's the
Just
report?
wait. We got to get through the
Man,
podcast.
Oliver, it seems like you just constantly take L's in fantasy. Is that just what happens, man?
That's true.
Yeah,
Just constant L's?
the number 2 team in the league.
Yeah, he's definitely lying. Isn't your record like 6-6 right now or something?
7-5,
It might
baby.
be worse. Yeah, you're the only guy that would be proud of that. Yeah, but I'll let you get to it. Let me know. Let me know when
All
I need to
right.
call back in.
Man, Oliver, you just taking L's left and right, man. You can't win for lose,
dude,
man.
dude, I'm number 2 in that league. I don't understand the hate. Everyone's hating, but okay.
Yeah, number two, second place is just the first loser. Let's just call it. It is what it is.
Hey, there's also
But
8
anyways,
people behind me.
before we get into
You're
the
talking about
49ers Eagles,
Cleveland.
yeah, that Broncos game was really, really impressive. I mean, the I remember I clowned you because you said they could make the playoffs this year, and they started off 1-5. Well, now they're what 5-6 or 6-5,
Mhm.
something like that. Are they above
Yeah.
500? Let me see.
The Broncos.
And that is that's crazy. They're above 500, 5-game win streak. Defense decided that they could play all of a sudden. So that's impressive. They beat Buffalo, Kansas City, Cleveland, and who else did they beat during this stretch? They beat some really good people during this stretch. So I
Yeah.
want to know from your perspective, Oliver, with the Broncos sitting at 6-5 right now, with the tough schedule ahead, and then with Indy trying to get in, Houston trying to get in with the same record, and Buffalo trying to fight for their lives, do you think the Broncos can stay in the playoff picture? And if you do think they can make the playoffs, can they beat anybody in the playoffs?
Can the Broncos beat anybody in the playoffs? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see why not. They've beaten Buffalo, they've beaten a lot of good teams. They're deep out. They have a lot of good pieces on offense. Russell Wilson seems to be waking up out of limited coma he was in. So I think Sean Payton can take this team and I don't see why he wouldn't be able to. I think they're better than the Colts. I think they're way better than the Steelers. The Steelers are frauds. I mean, I don't know in the world are they 7-4? How? Like that blows my mind. But eventually fall back down to earth at some point. But I think in the playoffs, I don't see why they couldn't. I did predict them to make the playoffs. In I think our first or second episode, I can't remember. But yeah, I did make that prediction. Everyone thought I was a clown for saying it. But I'm looking like I might be right. I said they were going to be the last seed. I mean,
Yeah, you also said Buffalo was going to make the playoffs.
Hey, take it easy. No need for that, right?
All right.
We already discussed that.
All right, moving on. So we were just talking about the Eagles in that game against Buffalo. They play San Francisco, and I'm looking forward to that game personally because last year's NFC Championship, we didn't get to see a fully healthy San Francisco team, specifically their quarterback unit, play Philly. So I'm just curious, where do you think that game's gonna go?
We have another caller in. I sent them the link to call in, but I told them that they to hold off, but they just hopping in.
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, 49ers, I think they win this. Second, right?
No, it's in Philly, and
It's in
San
Philly.
Fran's favored by 3. Yep.
They're favored by 3.
Oof. San Francisco's
That's
favored
tough.
by, I think it's 3.5.
It's a nice Christmas tree.
Here's the thing. I'm going to base this off.
Thank you.
Huh? Oh, I will say I think San Francisco comes in motivated. I think they come in, or I guess they're healthier now than what they were in the NFC Championship last year. I think CMC is obviously the best running back in the league. Well, Deebo Samuel's back. So I think everything's. They blew out the Seahawks last weekend on Seattle. It wasn't even a close game. So I think San Francisco's back on the right track. I think obviously Philly's the best record in the league right now. I think keep up with them and make it a great game. The San Francisco has an edge. Philly really play. They don't blow out teams. They play teams close. So lean San Francisco, but it's going to be a damn good game. That's for sure. What do you think?
Honestly, I'm undecided, bro. I wouldn't be able to pick a team right now. I legitimately don't know, but I will say this. Would you rather have your team be like Philly, where they can pull out those wins when you don't think they can, and they're playing these close games where it's forcing them to be disciplined for the whole game, the whole 60 minutes, or San Fran, where when you win big, so you like start. I mean, they're human. If you're up 20, if you're up 15, 16, you start running those trick plays. You start like trying to feed everybody. You know what I'm saying? You're having fun. Yeah. But when the San Francisco's lost, aside from the Cleveland loss, because they should have won that game, their kicker ruined that for them. They lose bad, and when they win huge. There's no like signature like, like let's see what we look like in adversity type moment for them when they pull out a win. But that's Philly, and Philly does that every single time they play. It's like Dallas, I feel like. Dallas, when they win, they destroy teams, like absolutely obliterate them. And then when they lose, they typically get shellacked. It's like not close. So like I'm a little concerned about that. And then Philly has a serious home field advantage. They do. They have you saw your own Buffalo Bills players getting pissed at homeboy on the Eagles. One of the fans was talking junk to him. So, they have while it's not a positive home field advantage and it's very negative and derogatory and very like hostile, they do have a home field advantage. So, that's a concern for me, as well as the weather. If the weather's super bad up in Philly and cold or rainy, San Fran's used to playing in that beautiful sunlight and the West Coast, and I think Philly. I'm surprised that San Fran's favored by 3.5. So that's where I'm going with that. But
I see, though. Top to bottom, they probably have more. They have Christian McCaffrey, they have George Kittle and Deebo, as opposed to, Devontae Smith is good, but I think they match up well. But I think San Francisco's defense has been playing better than Philly's defense, which I think might be the match kind of determines the outcome of this game. So San Francisco, but obviously this can go either way. So I also think that the Eagles are bound to lose another game at some point. They can't just have one loss. Every team, even if you're the best team in the league, you lose multiple games, whether it's 2-3. So I think that one loss isn't going to hold up. I think they might end up beating their match this weekend.
Okay. Now, you brought up Steelers earlier. Can they make the playoffs? There are 2 in their division right now. And if they can, with the absence of Matt Canada. It was Matt Patricia without a beard. Um, can the Steelers win a playoff game? I mean, I'll go first on this. I'll give my take,
Yeah.
and then you can give your take. The only thing that was holding them back was Matt Canada. In my opinion, Kenny Pickett is not a great quarterback. He's a serviceable quarterback. I feel like he's a game manager quarterback, and that's all he can do. I don't feel like he's amazing. And I feel like when you got, well, first of all, the receivers are another story for another day. The receivers have so much talent. They just got so much. It's like Stephon Diggs and A.J. Brown. They're both on the same team with the attitude. That's Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. Rightfully so, though. They're frustrated because they're not getting touches, but they're winning. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, it would be right if they were losing, but they're winning. So they got the players, Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, two-headed monster, I feel like. They got the O-line. They got freaking Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr., who's been amazing for them. I mean, they got some dogs now, and their defense is amazing, and their coach is a great coach. I don't see why they couldn't beat anybody, and they just had over 400 yards of offense, even though they only scored 16 against – who did they beat? I think they beat Cincy. I still think they were pretty good. So I think I could definitely see Pittsburgh making the playoffs, but I don't know if they'll win a game, to be honest with you.
All right, we got a caller in here. Will, do you think the
Welcome.
Pittsburgh Steelers can win a playoff game?
Talking to me?
Yes. Yeah, you called in.
Who? Yeah, but anyways, what was the question? Sorry, I got hung up. This is Rico. Can y'all see Can y'all see my name, or do I need to change?
Yes.
Something?
No, you can see
Okay.
it. We can see it.
Yeah.
Can the Pittsburgh Steelers win a playoff game, sir?
They could. Their city sucks. That's their first problem. How are you going to win a playoff game when you're in Pittsburgh? Can't. You had a TikToker for a wide receiver. That tarnished the name. Let's see. Got rid of your best wide receiver, but he went off the rails, went to Tampa Bay, lost his mind. He's now an absolute goof.
Valid point.
You had a rapist at quarterback. That doesn't help anything.
Valid point.
Browns aren't doing so well. They got the same thing. You had a decent coach. That helps. Going to need a little bit more than that, though. So I'm going to go no. I'm going to lock that in. No.
I'm going to say
I think
no.
the culture needs a change. I think same old stuff. They keep the very average seasons going. They're not going anywhere.
I agree. I don't think they make the playoffs. I think
Look,
they're going to
slip. You can have a great team. You can have an amazing team, but if you don't have that winner's mentality, that drive, that hunger to do the, go above and beyond, the guy. Look, perfect example: 18-0 Patriots going up against the New York Giants, right? Yeah, I'm a 9-year-old thinking that my whole life is in front of me. I got my team 18-0. We're just doing incredible. But guess what? That sneaky bastard Eli Manning tried to get in there with the right mindset, and he went and beat the best quarterback ever. I mean, it's all mentality.
It was the script. It was all scripted. That's all I got to say about that. Screw Eli Manning. Screw the New York Football Giants.
Point is, if the culture's right and you have the right mentality, you can get it done. The talent's one thing, but that mentality and culture, it weighs.
Oliver's in the chat. He says, can't win a game in Pittsburgh. Everyone knows that, but they wouldn't be in Pittsburgh. They'd be on the road if they make the playoffs. So I do think.
Yeah,
I think
silly goose.
I think it's a hell no.
Wait, hold up. Wait, Mr. Rico, you talk about culture. The Patriots' culture has been good. They won a lot of Super Bowls. So ever since Tom Brady left, would you say he's been the culture? Because Belichick's still there, and they seem like they're stinking the joint up. So
that's why, because Belichick is not the culture. Brady was the culture. Belichick's old, okay? Not good. Old is not good for anything. Old, you have old bread, you don't want to eat it. Sucks. You have old milk, sucks. You have old plays, suck. You need new, you need young, you need fresh. They don't have it. The Patriots don't have it. they have one of the best fan bases. Now, granted, are they morally sound? Probably not, but they're loyal. I mean, they're a bunch of blue collar, hardworking Bostonians. Those groups. Let me tell you something. It's a tough set right there. You got everything you need.
Yeah.
And you got an old geezer who's just calling plays from 2004. Like, listen, chemo. Like, Giselle is not. Yeah, Giselle, that's her name, right? Yeah, Giselle's not on the sidelines anymore. Tommy Terrific is down in South Florida doing his thing. He's not here anymore.
He retired.
Mix it up. Yeah, and Mac Jones, he's all right. He seems like a good guy. And Baylor Zappy or Zap, whatever his name. I don't even whatever the hell.
Baylor.
Yeah, I don't know his name. Bennett, whatever the fuck it is. Zappy. Yeah, he's all right. None of it. Here's the thing: when you don't know the quarterback's name and you're a diehard fan,
it's bad.
Not my fault. Not on me. That's on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bad marketing, maybe. Bad coaching, maybe. No incentive as a fan to learn the backup quarterback's name. Yeah, there's none. Change the culture. You change the fans. You change the projection of the game. Change the trajectory of the team. It's not that hard.
Hashtag fire Belichick.
Yeah, he needs to step down on his own. You can't fire him. He's done too much.
I kind of agree.
He's done too much. Look, maybe you make it hard. Maybe you make him park in a further away parking spot.
Yeah, and then he'll just trot in from far away.
Look, well, that could change up the culture. He starts getting a morning jog in. Look, no more donuts, Belichick. You got to park half a mile away. You ever think about that?
They're sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. The team is. I know they got Dunkin' Donuts in that
That's not good for anyone. That is not good for anyone.
Yeah,
you can see Mac Jones after a week of donuts. I mean, he's
slugging
around some LBs. You can see those love handles.
Yeah. We know.
We got
Don't get me started
a
on
first time chat from all 3 points 09, and it says, "Let him cook with Caleb next year." What do you think?
I want to say something. Knowing Bill Belichick, he will not draft Caleb Williams. He will trade down. He will trade the number 2 pick or the number 1 pick, wherever they end up, and he will trade down to the number 5 or 6 pick, and he will get like a second rounder, and he'll draft a long snapper out of Navy, and he will go crazy, and he will be like, "Yeah, we like him. We needed a long snapper, just like last year they drafted a stupid kicker and a stupid punter. Why are you drafting a kicker and a punter when you got Nick Folk? It doesn't make any sense.
Got a punt. You ever think about that? Can't rule that.
I mean, you might as well draft a water boy. I mean, my goodness, this is crazy.
What are you just going to be, a camel? Just not going to drink water? I mean, I hear you, but like at the same time, the logic is completely skewed. You got to have water.
Bill Belichick is done terrible in the draft.
Now, his priorities suck.
Yeah,
I'm with you there. His priorities suck, and I think that's because he's old. We can't make all these, calls or decisions or, analysis, any of that without considering the facts of the matter. He's old. Old people it's not an old person's game. This is not golf. This is football. You want to be an old
comparison. That's the perfect comparison.
I mean, look, you could have Arnold Palmer at 75 and he could hit a drive, 200 yards, but he could hit it within a cup, and that he's 75. But you got a football. Tom Brady at 75 is not throwing a dime like some 24-year-old that is new to the league and a first-round pick. He's 75 years old. Same thing with coaching. You can't coach if you're 75. And Belichick might be 100 for all I know. He looks like shit. He didn't coach well. I mean,
speaking of old quarterbacks, I want you guys to take Aaron Rodgers just started practicing this week. We saw a clip of him at the New York Jets practice. He's hoping and praying that the New York Jets can somehow make the playoffs with the 4-7 record. Do you guys see them making the playoffs? And will Aaron Rodgers even step on the field this year?
Jets, Jets. That's all I got to say. He's old. Here's give you a quick take here. A little 30-second, 30,000 viewpoint. Also, fun fact, a little law fact, you can get served in the air on a plane at 30,000 feet. Remember that, Oliver?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I remember. That was the most
someone can tell you they're suing you on a fucking airplane. Whoever made that rule, it sounds like Belichick. Back to the main point here.
Okay.
Actually, I had no clue what you were just talking about. Let's run it back. What are you saying?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. He is the Kyrie Irving of the NFL. Once you start making, look, I don't care where you stand on his positions. It doesn't matter. Once you make just incredulous claims as to where you stand on non-football related, hot button items, you lose value as a football player or as an athlete, whatsoever. Kyrie Irving, flat earther, all these crazy things. Won't do this, won't do that. Going against the team's will. And look at how he's playing now. He's just like mid. He's not the Kyrie Irving that was tearing up the court, 10 years ago. Mid player. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. He got his head on ayahuasca and all this crazy shit. And now he's just old. Look, one tackle and he tears his Achilles. Like, buddy, you ever drink milk? Maybe drink some milk. Not that hard. Like a nice glass of calcium-rich milk, that might help you.
It might. What about you, Oliver? What do you think?
No, I mean, this is all smokes and what is it called? Smoke and mirrors. I think it's a crock of horse shit, if I'm being honest. I don't think.
Just so you know, Oliver's getting old, man. He losing these old man phrases. Crock of horse shit. Give me a break.
I think him going back to practice is a good sign for him. But I also don't think why would he do it? It doesn't make sense. I don't think that the Jets are even relatively close to being in the playoffs. So why would he waste his time? Just wait until next year, man. Get fully healthy. Get 100%. Don't
He's
waste
old. How old? Can I get an age check on him?
I think he's 38.
38, yeah.
Oh, that's a bad 38.
Yeah. Real quick, pause for the chat real quick. We have Johnny saying Jimbo to the Patriots. Do you guys think Jimbo could be heading to the Patriots if Belichick leaves?
Patriots. And Johnny, here's what I need from you. Okay. I need you to go ahead and shut your face and do it right now.
Thank you.
No one needs Jimbo. You were a Jimbo sympathizer for the longest time. You loved Jimbo. You said Jimbo was cooler than your dad. I heard you say it.
Wow, that's crazy. Somebody would say that about their father.
Was it Johnny? I think it might have been Johnny. Did he say it? Yeah, most likely.
Nobody else would have said it.
Here's the thing, though.
Crazy.
Jimbo sucks. He's not good, and he's not going to the Patriots, the best franchise literally ever. Not going to go there.
America's team.
We could use. How about we get some young buck in here out of nowhere to snipe Dan Lanning, Patriots' new head coach. See you, Belichick. Have fun in the links. Dan Lanning. Spice up the game.
I could see Dan Lanning would be a great hire.
What about those Patriots fans who say, you know what? So what? It didn't work out with Judge. So what? It didn't work out with Patricia. Give us Josh McDaniels back. What do you say to people who want Josh as the president?
No one said that. That's fake. I don't say anything to them because they're not real. That motherfucker's not real.
Yeah, Josh is terrible. I don't know what his deal is with head coaching, but it's just not
He's
good.
Fat. But it's that easy. He's fat. If you're fat, you're not going to be a good head coach.
Really? Andy Reid?
Andy Reid is like a lizard. Like that guy, he's got 1 million lives. He's 150 years old. He defies logic. Andy Reid's a one-off. Okay.
Okay. All right. I get it.
And here's another person when you get all mixed up in the media and your stock starts to fall. Travis Kelce. Get mixed up in the media, stock starts falling.
Speaking of Travis Kelce, we have another chatter, Ventiflex, that said the Patriots need a good luck Swiftie in the crowd to start winning games. Is that true?
I don't even know what the hell that means. No idea.
It means you need a good luck charm, i.e. someone like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, needed some attention on the team. Brady had Giselle. Things were popping. They had Gronk. He was a very polarizing figure for the team.
Swiftie? That is the worst thing. Oh, my God. Oh, wow.
Oh,
no, we don't need a Swiftie is the answer. We don't need anything near that.
Is there any good artists to come out of the Boston area? Like music artists?
Yeah, like everyone ever. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And how about comedy, right? Bill Burr, ever heard of him?
Yes.
Joe Rogan, ever heard of him? Yeah.
Yes.
We got some studs coming out of Beantown. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. What is up with that nickname, Beantown? There's not even beans. Like, I don't think I've ever had a cup of beans in Boston. That's a dumb nickname. Whoever made that, James Madison or one of these dumbasses, don't name it Beantown. Okay? Like, great job on the Constitution or whatever, but like, let's not name city. All right.
All right. Johnny once again defying Rico. He says Mark Stoops going to the Patriots.
Okay, Johnny.
All right.
You have a
just needs
flat
to stop.
tire.
Can we
Go
blame-
attend to it.
Can we ban this dude? Do we have mods?
Ban it from the chat.
Yeah, can we
Can we ban
banish
this dude?
Johnny?
All right.
I'm
then,
calling Rico.
last NFL topic before we move on. CJ Stroud, Ohio State's finest.
Jeez.
Can he win the MVP this year
Yeah.
as a rookie?
Yes.
Why do you think so, Oliver?
Look at his numbers.
Oh,
He's playing
he's
like
good.
one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And he's taken a fumbling Houston Texans team and put them squarely in the playoff.
Can we
picture.
run back
I don't see
maybe
how you couldn't
2
make the
weeks,
argument.
though? Because last I checked, old Spurs fan over here was saying, that's the worst trade in trade history. Why would you ever do
I just
that?
told him that.
Are
I
you
told him that
serious?
before we started.
Yeah.
And I stand on that. I stand on that because
How are you
Mahomes
gonna
is way
stand
better
on
than
that?
Stroud.
How are you gonna stand
And
on something
once
that's not
Mahomes gets
tangible?
receivers next year, if this wasn't a dynasty league, it wouldn't have been a dumb trade. But because it's dynasty, Mahomes is going to get a star receiver next year. I'm calling it. He's going to get one, and then his numbers are going to be amazing all over again.
Hey, if you call
What
it,
makes
then
you
shit.
say that? What makes you say that? Because they had opportunities to sign
I
big
gotta go
star
grill.
wide receivers and they
I'll be
didn't.
back.
All right. Thank you, Will. Appreciate you for calling in.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. They did have the opportunity, but they were more so trying to trade for a receiver. DeAndre Hopkins didn't want to take no pay cut because, star receivers, once they take a pay cut, they don't get a big contract again after that. That's why it's so hard for a lot of these professional sports players to take pay cuts to be on good teams, because then they never get paid what they're supposed to in the future, even if they ball out. So that's why. So I just want to point that out. My take: CJ Stroud cannot win the MVP. I don't think there's any shot, especially with how Jalen Hurts is playing. I think he might get a couple votes, but I don't think he's going to win the MVP, if I'm being completely honest with you. It's so rare that it's happened. And if Houston misses the playoffs, I don't see how you justify him winning MVP.
Well, yeah, they have to make the playoffs for sure.
Yeah. So that's all I'll say about Stroud. Who's your MVP pick? I know you're saying Stroud could win it, but who is your MVP pick so far, 3/4 of the way done with the season?
Christian McCaffrey. I see the argument for Jalen Hurts, and I think he's squarely in the number 2 spot. And I know this is a quarterback award, but I do believe that the numbers he's putting up is probably this has got to be one of the best running back seasons we have ever seen. Dude is going crazy. I mean, he's averaging like 2 touchdowns a game, which is absurd for a running back. And so that's why I lean McCaffrey here, especially that game in Seattle. He had a day. So if he continues, and especially if he goes into Philly and beats Jalen Hurts' team head to head, and he has a great game, I think he puts himself squarely in that number 1 spot. But he's sitting at number 1 for me. So I'll say CMC.
All right. Good talk. Let's move on into the National
Wait, who's your
Basketball.
MVP? Who's your MVP though?
I already told you, Jalen Hurts.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I think Jalen Hurts is going to win it. He's really good and he's really likable, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to win it. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's start off with that basketball team, the one who's out in the middle of nowhere in the tornado belt of the nation, Oklahoma City. They got a couple players over there. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Who else? Jalen Williams. Let's see. Who else do they got? Josh Giddey. More like giggity the way he's been acting lately. Who else? They gotta have some more good players besides that.
You mean the rookie of the year?
Lugenis Dort. Let's see, who else do they got? I mean, really, the roster is just scarce. If we're being completely honest, I guess they got this Chet Holmgren guy on their team. Second-year player, not a rookie, by the way. I guess he's doing all right, playing number 2. Oklahoma City Thunder starting off really good this year. What is your opinion on how the Thunder are doing? Are they just having a hot start and going to cool off eventually, or do you think they could take this momentum all the way into the playoffs or play-in tournament potentially? Where do you see them going the rest of the season? And is Chet Holmgren that guy? Can he win Rookie of the Year? Will he fall short of Wembanyama, who is already favored to win it? What do you see happening?
That's incorrect. The odds just changed today. Chet Holmgren is the odds-on favorite to win Rookie of the Year.
After taking that beating to Rudy Gobert? Really?
He didn't lose by a ton.
But I'm talking about one-on-one performance. Rudy Gobert versus Chet Holmgren?
Oh my gosh, it's a rookie playing against one of the best defensive centers in the
NBA.
and
look at Wembanyama's stats against Rudy. He dropped 27 on him, on his head.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
How many did Chet have last night?
Not that much. He had like 16. He had like 16. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Let's hear your take. Let's hear your take, Oliver.
Do I think the Thunder can be a legitimate threat in the playoffs? Yes, I think they can. Do I think they will? Probably not. But they have the talent there in that organization to do so. SGA is playing at an MVP level. Chet is playing like a very, very good number 2 option in his first year of actually playing full NBA games. I got to say the whole Josh Giddey thing could be a distraction, but they're still letting him play, which is kind of odd, but I guess we'll let that figure itself out. Cason Wallace has been a great draft pick so far. He's a great 6-man coming off the bench for this team. Isaiah Joe is a great player as well. So I think we do have to take the whole kind of thing into consideration, that the fact that they are young, and we talked about this last pod, they are a very young team, but I see this trajectory. They're sitting at number 5 in the Western Conference, and I think they're only 2 games out of the first seed. So things can change pretty quickly. I see this team on the trajectory of the Sacramento Kings of last year, where they kind of came out of nowhere. And I think that they can make some noise. They can compete with some of these teams. I mean, they only lost to the Timberwolves by 3 last night in Minnesota. It was a very close game the entire way. So I do think that they can compete, and I'm going to be cautious with them. Time will tell as far as how the Thunder look in the playoffs. So what do you think?
I think they can make the playoffs. I think they're getting eliminated first round, no matter who they play. I don't care if they're a 4 seed playing a 5 seed or a 3 seed playing a 6 seed. I think they're losing because I think they're young. And no matter how talented a team is, we've always seen, with the exception of the Oklahoma City Thunder of 2012, they made the finals. With the exception of that team, we haven't seen a young team since then, which was 11 years ago, do well in the playoffs and advance that far. It just hasn't happened. So just solely based on youth, I don't see it. I legitimately don't. I think you'll see an experienced team, especially if they get a matchup with the Lakers. That's scary for them. I mean, I know the Lakers just got beat 44 points to Philly, but I mean, the Lakers get there. I bet you people are dying to play the Thunder in the playoffs as a first round. If they're an older, experienced team. Now, if it's like the Rockets and Thunder that play each other, okay, I could potentially see the Thunder winning that series, because the Rockets, as of now, they're the 8th seed at 8-7. Ime Udoka is doing a hell of a job over there. So, but if they get an experienced team like the Clippers, which are at 11 right now, Golden State, who we'll get to later, you never know. When teams hit the playoffs, they turn their engine on. Or if they play the Suns, Now, I don't think they're winning. The Kings probably not winning that series. The Kings have a sour taste in their mouth last year, so that's what I think. Now, in terms of Chet Holmgren, I ain't gonna lie, he's a good player. He's good, but he's not Wemby. That's all I gotta say. He's good, but nobody's Wemby, so I guess that's not fair to say. That's not fair
This
to
is true.
say. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's hear what you got
I
to say.
was gonna say, do you not think that Chet versus Wemby is gonna be one of the biggest rivalries for the next 20 years in the NBA? I think we're setting this up to be Chet and Wemby whenever they play against each other. It's gonna be must see TV for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And no matter who wins Rookie of the Year, they're both stars. I mean, they're both gonna be stars in this league. So it's just a matter of who's peaking at the right time when they play each other, and which team has more depth, and who can support which star better. And I think the Thunder have an edge because Chet is so good, and then they have SGA, and then they have all these other draft picks coming in. So I think the Thunder are set up way better than the Spurs are, but Wemby's ceiling is a little bit higher than Chet's. But I think it's a lot closer than people think. Um, but I do think that we are setting this up for probably the best kind of. I'm thinking it's going to be like KD, LeBron kind of thing, of the not next century, but the next generation of NBA players.
I would agree with that. I think that's definitely going to happen for the next decade or so. Um, I just think that Wemby is way more skilled, and I think that he's might not win a lot of those matchups, but in terms of yearly stats, I think Wemby's always going to be above him, like essentially every year. Like in except for like statistic, like in terms of efficiency wise, Chet might win that because Chet is very like what's the word? He's very smart with his shot selection. Wemby's more so like I don't care if I'm missing or if I'm making, I'm gonna try to like I am the game plan. You know what I'm saying? Like while Chet, he's playing with SGA. So that's why he's so efficient, which I told you last week. Wemby's getting focused every game and getting pushed around, and he's still like he has a lot of shot attempts, but he's still like I've watched a lot of Spurs games this season. The fourth quarter, that dude is like he always waits to play really, really well until the fourth quarter. And it's like watching like a seasoned vet play. Like he already knows the feel for the game, and his teammates just bother me. That gets us into our next topic. I'm a Spurs fan, diehard Spurs fan, will always be a Spurs fan. And Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, I know you like him, Baylor's finest. Devin Vassell, even, who I feel like is the number two on this team. Get over yourself, please. Like I beg of you. You got the number one pick. This dude is a generational player. I know you're trying to make a living yourself. You have a family to feed. But if you're trying to win games, please give the ball to Wemby. It's bothering me. I see clips every night of Wembanyama running down the court, giving effort, and his teammates don't pass him the ball. The only guy who passes him the ball on a consistent basis because he has some brain cells in him is Trey Jones. Trey Jones, as soon as he gets the ball, he looks for Wemby, and he is the pure point guard. Sohan, Johnson, Vassell, I mean, give me a break. You have got to get him involved. And it bothers me because he gets rebounds, he blocks shots, he gets steals, he runs the floor in transition. And they never get him the ball. It's ridiculous. He has to get the ball. And then when he does get the ball, he's frustrated because he doesn't get the ball. So then he pulls up from three. And then he misses a couple from three. And it's irritating because if you just give him the ball in fast break, it's over with. Who's stopping him in the fast break? So that's what bothers me. What do you guys think?
We got Rico back in here. I agree. There's a lot of problems as far as because I don't think the Spurs knew how to implement Wemby efficiently, and normally Greg Popovich is very good about doing that kind of stuff of creating a system, but there's a lot of players that don't really realize what they have in front of them with Wemby. I think there's just also a lot of jealousy, and I hate to say it that way, because they realize like, okay, like our time, at least being stars, is over because this guy is like literally the most hyped up player in the past 30 years. So I think there's a hint of jealousy, but there's also ways for you to become a star in in Greg Popovich's system. Even if you're not the number one guy, look at Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was the number one guy in San Antonio, but Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili and those guys became stars. And then you had David Robinson, who was there, who was the number one guy. And then Tim Duncan showed up, and they still made it work.
And Kawhi.
Kawhi wasn't even the number one guy.
He was like the number 4 guy, or number 2, number 3 or 4.
So there's still ways for you to become an efficient star in that system. It's just a matter of people just growing up and realizing like that this guy's a freaking alien and he's not real. So I think you just got to realize like some people need to understand that. And I think the Spurs are kind of going through growing pains, and we kind of expected that. So
kind of pivoting off the growing pains. Y'all ever think about how Wemby is he's so tall, right? This guy is humongous, and he's very skinny, right? It's kind of like a skeleton. His knees are attached by what is a rubber band, right? His whole career, millions of dollars are resting on a rubber band, okay? How can, as a coach, how can you prevent that rubber band from snapping inevitably, right? It's gonna snap.
That's a fair question, actually.
One stinky foot under his foot when he comes down, gone. Shot. See ya. His career, gone. You know what he is then? He's the next. Who's the big-handed fucker on the Rockets who was on the Mavs?
Boban Marjanovic.
Get that guy.
Oh, yeah.
The big weird fuck. He's the next one. That's the next one. All it will take is a stinky foot under his foot when he comes down. All the hype, gone. 20 or 30 years of hype, see ya. Rubber band, bye. Office Depot, here.
Office Depot is crazy.
That's insane behavior. But we're joking about it, but that's like a legit question. Like, and the same thing with Chet Holmgren. They're both
about to say
fragile. Yeah. They're both
and I got
fragile.
Your answer. I'm going to touch back on about 20 minutes ago. It's called milk. Aaron Rodgers, learn. Wemby, learn. Calcium, that's what you need. Steak, that's what you need. Yeah, like, not that hard. What am I missing here?
This is very
Yep. You're right.
You're not going to get it done with a salad. Not getting it done. No. You need meat. You need good, hearty meat. And then you maybe toss in a broccoli. Doesn't hurt anyone. A nice glass of milk in the morning, some broccoli and steak and chicken and fish. That's all you need. That rubber band turns into a fucking power rope. It's not breaking.
All right. I want to transition here kind of back to the Thunder. And Will, you can hop in on this, but I really want to get Isaiah's take here. So we're going to do a little Would You Rather.
That was a nice way of telling me to can it, Chemo. I appreciate it. I keep my mouth shut.
So we're going to do a little Would You Rather with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I'm going to give you a list.
That dude got too many syllables in his name, but go ahead.
Is that the dude who's been talking to little kids?
No, that's Josh Giddey. That's the Oklahoma City Thunder stand for. That's what their team stands for.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to give you a list of point guards in the league, Isaiah. And Will, if you know who SGA is, correct?
I don't know who the hell Will is. We're gonna have to walk that one back. Can't you see the handle?
Rico, my apologies. But so I'm gonna give you a list of point guards. Tell me if you would rather have SGA or the people I list. So we're gonna start Trae Young. Would you rather Trae Young or SGA? We'll start with Isaiah.
Give me Trae Young.
Yep, no question. No question. He looks like a rat. Are you kidding me? He's got that extra pep in his step. When you look like a wet mop, you're going to outwork anyone next to you. Give me Trae Young any day of the week. Kidding me? What is that? Next.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Next name is Damian Lillard.
He was on a Canadian team. What the hell is that? Okay, Trudeau. No. Pass.
Give me Dame Lillard.
I lean Dame, but I could see SGA.
He can freestyle, though. I got to give him that. He can freestyle.
He does have good music. Yeah. I will say that. Jamal Murray.
Give me Shai.
Yeah, I'll take Shai. That's pretty easy for me, actually. Shai or Jamal?
I don't care. Neither. Drop that.
He's like he's
De'Aaron-
got beef with Canadians.
No,
He does.
I don't mind. Canadians are nice people, but like, look, I'm looking at it through a evaluation standpoint. Canadians aren't going to get it done. They're just not gonna do it. Look, what's the best country on literal Earth? It's not Canada. We're in it,
True.
right? So yeah, sorry, Canada's not on top. Yeah.
All right, De'Aaron Fox is the next name.
Oh, give me Shea.
I'll say, yeah, I'll ride with that. I'll go Shea.
All right, Kyrie Irving.
Dude,
Oh my! I want to hear his answer. I want to hear him. I want to hear him.
bro, I was just at the Mavs game. I was in his ear last night.
What were you saying to Kyrie?
Dude, I was in his ear. The earth is round. The earth is round. And all this stuff. I was letting him have it. Every time he touched the ball, earth is round. Like, I would just scream it, dude. That man, he didn't look at me, but he knew it. He heard it. I know he heard it. I know he heard it. So, yeah, I'm gonna pass on Kyrie. He's old as hell, and he's in the media. He's washed. He looks like shit. His hair is worse than LeBron's. Like, nah, that guy's.
It's Uncle Drew at this point.
Yep.
His old uncle. I'm gonna take Shea on that one.
I'll take Ben Simmons before I take Kyrie Irving.
Whoa.
Wow, that's
Wow.
crazy.
That's insane. Wow.
Lock
Okay.
it in.
All right. John Morant.
Oh, no
I
question.
forgot he's even in the league.
I'm taking.
You mean
him.
Ja Wick? Ja Wick?
True.
I'm taking him. I'm taking him any day of the week. No question.
I'm taking John Morant.
I'll take Shea here.
Well,
I like
is
Shea.
it a dynasty league or a one season thing? Because
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Talking long term here. Like,
yeah,
if you're starting a franchise, who would you rather have?
I'm not taking Morant then. Nah.
All right. Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
Why are
Easily.
you naming old people though? He is incredible, but like, give me a young buck that actually is like a good comparison,
All right. Tyrese Halliburton then.
dude. There's no way that name's original. There's no way that name is original. I mean,
I'm taking
you're named
Ty-
after a portion 100.
I'm taking Tyrese Halliburton.
I am too.
Really?
That name's sick. Lock it in. The sales? Are you kidding me? You have Dick Cheney coming to every game. Like, that is just incredible. I'm locking it in.
I will take SGA. That's a close one, but I'd take SGA right now.
Tyrese is a better playmaker.
True, but SGA is a way better scorer, in my opinion.
I don't know.
But all right, we're gonna move into a little college football. You good with that, Isaiah?
Yeah, let's
Mitch,
do
how
it.
many Zin bones are in the bottom lip? Because I'm seeing at least 2.
That's just one, man.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Wait, real quick before we move on, Oliver, we have some chatters here.
Oh, dude.
Johnny.
All 3 points said Battle of the Slenderman when we were talking about Wemby and Chet. And then Oliver said, quick thoughts on Jude, another goal, best young player since
Oh.
Messi/Ronaldo.
Jude Bellingham. Let me get on my soapbox.
I don't
for
know,
2
soccer. It's a fake football. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jude Bellingham is the best player, playing like the best player in the world right now. He plays for Real Madrid, English player, and that dude, he has 15 goals in like 13 games in his first like season with his new team. So, yeah, quick thoughts. Best player in the world right now. Do we have any other chats? Benty Flex says, "What do you guys think about Sam Hartman?" I don't.
I do not know who that is.
I'm
That's-
back to the grill, fellas. I'll be back.
All right.
All right.
I think she's trolling. I don't know who Sam Hartman is.
Sam Hartman is Notre Dame's quarterback. So, anyways, we're moving forward here. We got some college football to talk about. We're gonna go a little overtime here. So college football. I'm assuming you watched the Michigan Ohio State game. So what are your quick thoughts on that game? Where do you think Ohio State stands after losing this game? And where do you think Michigan goes from after winning this game?
I'm going to be like Shaquille O'Neal. I got 3 words for you. Blake Corum is that dog, he's got that dog in him. He's the heart and soul of that Michigan team. And, without John Harbaugh, you know,
Jim.
or Jim Harbaugh, same thing. They look damn near the same. Blake Corum, great running back. Who's a QB? McCarthy? Is that his name?
McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy. He's got that dog in him. Barbecue chicken when Michigan plays anybody. I don't care if you got me a head coach out there. They're the truth. Somebody had to lose that game. I'm infuriated with Ohio State being ranked that low. They're still a damn good football team. Ryan Day, he just can't get over Michigan. I don't know what it is. He's 0-3 against them. 0-4, whatever the record is. I think Michigan's got a shot here. Ohio State, on the other hand, it looks like they probably won't make the CF, or what is it? What do you call it? What do you call it, Oliver? The playoff, college football playoff? I don't know. I think Ohio State's a damn good football team. We want to see Marvin Harrison Jr. play. We want to see it. We want to see him in the big lights. And that game was all about Blake Corum. What are your thoughts?
That sounded honestly like a combination of Shaq and Joe Biden. I could
And Doc Rivers.
And Doc Rivers. Oh my goodness. I think Michigan's the best team in the country. I think Georgia is probably the closest team to them. I do think Georgia's gonna have a tough test coming up against Alabama. I think Alabama has the chance to win that game. I think Ohio State is perfectly placed. The committee has said that Oregon has always been and still is the best one-loss team in the country, and I totally agree with them. They have been playing lights out. Bo Nix has been playing out of his mind and can honestly win the Heisman if he plays really well in this Pac-12 championship on Friday. I think Ohio State is perfectly placed. I don't see them being behind Texas, and I don't see them being behind Alabama. So I do think that Ohio State is doing a great job, but they lost the game that they were supposed to win, and that's what happens. That's just the parody of college football. And I do think that I will say this. We need to stop the disrespect on the Washington Huskies. I know that they have been winning close games, but we do got to realize they're playing in the hardest conference this year. Everyone's going to say, oh, SEC, Big Ten. The SEC hasn't been what the SEC is normally, and the Big Ten has literally just been Michigan and Ohio State. So, and when the Big Ten championship is Iowa and Michigan, I'm just not buying that argument.
I agree. I agree.
The Big Ten is not as good as the Pac-12 has been this year, and I would even argue the SEC hasn't been as good as the Pac-12. The third best team in the SEC this year was Missouri. I just don't see.
Yeah, that's a solid point. That's a solid point.
We need to respect Washington, and if Washington wins on Friday, they are a legitimate threat for the national championship. They're not like TCU last year. I thought TCU they were good. They had a very good, solid core with that class that they had, but I think they just ran into a buzzsaw. They beat Michigan, but I think they ran into a buzzsaw in Georgia, and but I think Washington needs to get more respect, and I'm glad that they're holding strong at that 3 spot. So,
what about Colorado? What do you don't think they got a shot?
Yeah, 8-loss Colorado in the playoff.
Hey, they got a shot. They might just put them in just for ticket sales. They might put them in. They might throw them in there.
They would sell a lot of tickets.
they might throw them in there. So, everything you said, you asked me for my input. I agree with everything you said, except the fact that you would rank Ohio State. Wait, you said something about they would be above Alabama, and then above Texas. Who do you say would be above them or behind them?
Behind Ohio State would be Oregon is still ahead of Ohio State in my mind.
Okay.
I think they're the best
Okay, then
one-loss team
never
in the
mind. Then
country.
I do agree with you because I think Oregon's
Yeah,
really good as
because
well.
Oregon's one loss was to Washington by 3, which is the number 3 team in the country. Ohio
See,
State's loss is at Michigan by 6. So just by virtue of points, Ohio State's loss is a little worse than Oregon's loss is. So
see, it
that's my
wouldn't be like that though. It wouldn't be like that if their loss was early in the season. But just because it's now, they jumped all the way down to what? They're ranked 6 or 7 now. Ohio.
they're ranked 6. Yeah,
That's ridiculous. But if they would have lost their first game of the season, and if they played the good team that they played, and then they went on a 10-game win streak, they wouldn't be ranked this low. So that's what bothers me about college football is like, yeah, there's juggernauts, and you're gonna have the undefeated teams, and ultimately that's the teams that are gonna make the CFP playoff. But it's like, damn, you lose one game against, like, somebody's got to win the game. Somebody's got to. Does that mean you're the 7th worst team in the country because you lost one game? I mean, my goodness. And it's not like
right.
you
But
didn't
you
lose
also,
clubs.
yeah, yeah. But you also have to take into consideration that there are other teams performing well. It's not just Ohio State.
Right.
Oregon's been performing a lot better than they have, in my opinion. I wouldn't argue Texas is. You can make an argument that Alabama has been playing a lot better than Ohio State has. So I don't find a problem with them being at rank 7. They're saying they're the second best one-loss team in the country, which I don't disagree with that argument. I still
All
think
right.
Oregon deserves to be number 5. So, and I do
Okay.
think
All right.
Florida State, I will say this as a last caveat before we wrap up here. I will say that Florida State, if they are put in the playoff, we're getting another TCU. It's going to be a blowout, especially if they get matched up against either Michigan or Georgia. They're not like, without Jordan Travis, they're nothing. That's their guy. Um, Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't be in if they win their ACC championship this weekend. But what I am saying is if you're wanting to get the 4 best teams, I don't think Florida State is one of those teams. So
I
if we
agree.
want to have good semifinal games, we need to kind of evaluate that and kind of look at it, not just smaller picture, but big picture. And they played in the ACC, which is the worst football at this
I
moment.
agree.
So just got to
I
look at
agree.
that. I hope the committee gets it right. But we'll get some answers
Mhm.
Friday and Saturday.
For
It'll be
sure.
interesting. But
Real quick, last take from you. I want to hear from you. What is your take on Jalen Milrose? 4th and goal from the 31-yard line, dot to the left sideline in the end zone to win that game against Auburn. What's your take on that?
that was nuts. I think Jalen Milroe is the most underrated, at least top 10 quarterback. I do think top 10 meaning top 10 teams. I do think he has Heisman odds. I think he's like number 4, 5, something like that. And if he beats Georgia, you got to consider bringing him to New York as a finalist. I know he got benched, but part of being the Heisman is you go through adversity and you lead your team through all your trials and tribulations and you perform well. And he's been playing out of his mind. I mean, that throw was just gorgeous. I mean, that was
Beautiful.
perfectly placed within the breadbasket for his receiver to grab ball. And I mean, you got to put some respect on Jalen Milroe. People have been disrespecting him all year, and I think that was a great play. Obviously, it was Auburn, who wasn't like worth their salt, but it's a rivalry game. It's one of the biggest rivalries in college football, and you got to take that into consideration. But that Alabama can win against Georgia, so we'll see how he performs next week. But that was a great toss by him. A lot of mistakes by Auburn in that last few minutes of that game too. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What do you
All
think
right.
about
Well, I think that was insane. It's crazy because about a decade ago, or a little less than a decade ago, Auburn was on the receiving end of that late game heroic good luck with their returned missed field goal that went viral. So Milroe's the truth. I think he has a shot at the Heisman, like you said, if they beat Georgia. But there's a lot of good college football going on right now. A lot of great teams. Unfortunately, the Central Texas College Eagles couldn't make a name for themselves in the college football playoff this year. We'll see what they do next
You
year and
mean
what they're up to.
the Central Texas College Academics? You mean?
Oh, the academics. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Just like Stanford, they're the trees. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode 13 of the Athletic Exchange Pod. If you watch live, thanks for watching. We had a lot of chatters with us tonight. Keep it coming. We'll be hopefully be on for next week as well with our post NFL, post college football weekend takes. And if you are rewatching this back or re-listening, please be sure to follow us on all our socials: YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, X, and make sure you follow myself and Oliver's social handles as well. So with that being said, everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next time.